Hi, I'm Dennis Ward. Welcome to APTN National News. We begin in Saskatchewan, where an evacuation order has now been issued for Ronge, Ronge, and Lac La Ronge Indian Band as the wildfire situation in northern Saskatchewan continues to deteriorate. The alert was issued at around 4:30 p.m. Monday, advising residents to begin evacuating immediately.
When wildfires happen, that's typically the time of year when our hotels are getting full with other types of business. So it can be a real challenge, and it can raise some real, some real questions as how to best manage displaced persons.
More than 4,000 people in 3 communities are being told to leave. That's in addition to the 8,000 others already displaced by wildfires in the province. That number may go up as officials at Candle Lake may start ordering people out soon. The Shoe Fire, which is the biggest wildfire in Saskatchewan currently, is burning less than 14 kilometers away from the resort village. An evacuation advisory is already in place in that area. To Manitoba now, and according to the latest fire bulletin, 25 fires are burning in the province. Over the weekend, thousands of evacuees arrived in Winnipeg and elsewhere, but some are heading to other locations outside of the province, including Niagara Falls in Ontario. APTN Sierra Bettens has more.
Across Manitoba, more than 17,000 people have been told to evacuate their homes due to wildfires. On Saturday, Indigenous leadership in Manitoba called on governments to urge hotels to make space for evacuees. On Monday, Manitoba Premier Wab Kinew said around 1,000 hotel rooms are set to open for evacuees. At a Monday afternoon press conference in Winnipeg, Manitoba Kiiwetinowi Ogamaganik Grand Chief Garrison Settee said they're working with the province of Ontario and Expera, a risk mitigation company, to settle evacuees in Niagara Falls. He said 600 will head there on Monday.
Our people arrived there, they were being welcomed, they had food, and the lodging was there, and they had people helping coordinate events like activities for elders. So that's how you do an evacuation, and we have much to learn here in Manitoba.
Settee said the majority of people in the Matthias-Colomb Cree Nation have been evacuated, except some essential service workers. He urged the province to listen to First Nations leadership.
Listen to us, and because we know how to do things. It's just we don't have the resources and the wherewithal, and they need to allow us to take control because we know what to do.
The Canadian Red Cross is accepting monetary donations for the 2025 Manitoba wildfires through redcross.ca and by phone at 1-800-418-1111. Sierra Bettens, APTN National News, Winnipeg.
To other news now, and several levels of government are ramping up efforts to fast-track energy pipelines and critical minerals projects. The recent throne speech says Ottawa wants the evaluation time for resource extraction projects reduced from 5 years to 2 years. The province of Ontario is also pushing ahead with Bill 5, which aims to create special economic zones where environmental assessment standards can be bypassed. It's to speed up projects like mining in Northern Ontario's Ring of Fire. This has upset First Nations across Canada. They say any project proposal must be done with free, prior, and informed consent. This morning, outside of Cabinet, Minister of Justice Sean Fraser was asked if this equals a veto.
In most circumstances, I think it demands a very deep level of engagement and understanding of the rights that may be impacted, and to the extent that those rights can be accommodated, we should make every effort to. The explicit nature of a veto, so far my understanding is it stops short of a complete veto, but it certainly, in my view, heightens the demands upon government to engage fully to both understand the nature of the rights that could be impacted by decisions taken by government, but also the heightened duty to accommodate those rights that are baked into our treaties and protected by our Constitution.
Meanwhile, the Premiers and Prime Minister met in Saskatoon on Monday for the First Minister's meeting. And Premiers shared concerns and discussed projects of national importance. There is a set of criteria that must be met in order for the projects to be considered. Proposed projects must strengthen Canada's autonomy, resilience, and security and provide clear economic benefits. They must have a high likelihood of success and support the transition to a cleaner energy. The final factor is that these proposed projects must be a high priority for Indigenous leaders. Prime Minister Mark Carney said that while tough discussions may come, there was full agreement on the need for consultation.
All First Ministers agreed that Indigenous partnerships and equity will be central to success. And upcoming federal legislation will mandate both meaningful consultation with Indigenous peoples, both during the process of determining which projects are in the national interest and developing the conditions for each project.
And our Rachel May will have a full report on that on our evening newscast at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Well, we're always looking for your feedback or story ideas. Here's how you can continue the conversation. If you have a story you want to share, you can send us an email to news@aptn.ca. You can read and watch our stories online by going to our website, aptnnews.ca. You can also find us online on your favorite social media sites, including TikTok, YouTube, LinkedIn, and X. Follow APTN News to join the conversation and see our latest stories. A group of barbers are helping out those in Vancouver's downtown east side who are looking for a trim. That story and more still to come. Welcome back to Yellowknife now, where our video journalist Bruce De La Cruz gives us a glimpse into the Northwards Writers Festival and their 20th year of celebrating Northern Indigenous authors.
The event, and Jesse doesn't want to do it, then they call me.
People gathered to hear spoken word poetry on the first night of Yellowknife's Northwards Writers Festival. Celebrating its 20th anniversary, the festival has uplifted Northern and Indigenous authors through book launches, panel discussions, and mentorships. Robin Scott, who has been president of the board of directors since 2019, shares some highlights from the past 2 decades.
One of my favorite things that we've done is taking authors who have done beautiful pieces of writing here in Yellowknife and have then gone on to expand. Katlia Lafferty has written 4 novels and is celebrated across the country.
Richard Van Camp, an award-winning Tlicho author, helped found the festival all the way back in 2007 after he and other authors saw a lack of Northern representation.
21 years ago, there were a pile of us here in Yellowknife, and we were moaning. We were bemoaning the fact that, as lovers of literature and as writers, so many of us had to travel to Edmonton or Winnipeg or Toronto or Vancouver to go to writers' retreats and to listen to some of our favorite writers. And somebody at the table, I can't remember who, said, what if we just organized our own? What if we started our own Writers' Festival and Readers' Festival? And that's really how Northwards was born.
Nigan Sinclair, columnist at the Winnipeg Free Press and member of APTN's Truth and Politics panel, has been invited to speak at the festival. This will be his 4th time as a guest author.
What I like to say about my dad is that he was the first of every room he walked into.
He shares his thoughts on the need for festivals like Northwards that heavily feature Indigenous authors.
There's very few spaces in the country in which Indigenous writers are given the opportunity to talk about what it's like. If you go to the major writing festivals in Canada, most times you're put into the Indigenous panel. There is a specific area, and most oftentimes it's attached to trauma. People want to talk about pain and colonialism. They don't talk about being Indigenous. In this festival, you can talk about it in every panel, in every place. There is Indigenous writers everywhere.
Richard Van Camp left us with the parting message on why more authors should become involved with the festival.
Because there's a spirit here at this festival that comes from the audience. I call it the Great Northern Spirit. And to share that Great Northern Spirit with our honored guests is our greatest joy.
Over the course of the weekend, over 300 people attended the festival. From panel discussions, poetry nights, and workshops with iconic Canadian authors, there was something for everyone to enjoy. If you want to get involved with Northwards Northwest Territories or want a heads up for next year's festival, be sure to follow them online at northwardsnwt.com. Bruce De La Cruz, APTN National News, Yellowknife.
Thanks, Bruce. A group of budding barbers from a local Vancouver barbering program is proving that a fresh fade can go a long way. And for one day, they make self-care accessible to anyone. Simone Charlin has the story.
There is definitely a buzz in this warehouse on Vancouver's downtown east side, where an all-Indigenous cohort from the barbering program of the Blanche Macdonald Academy is offering free haircuts, beard cuts, grooming, and hairstyling to the residents of this notoriously low-income neighborhood. A little bit of self-care for those who generally can't afford professional services. The initiative is a collaboration between 3 local nonprofit organizations: Access, 2 Paychecks Away, and the Heart Tattoo Society. Kristen Wheelick from Access, the Aboriginal Community Career Employment Service Society, helped offer the opportunity to 11 urban Indigenous community members to partake in a 6-month barbering program in collaboration with world-renowned Blanche Macdonald College.
The whole purpose behind the idea is to get the Indigenous community members out in the field of professional barbering and in the salon. There's a lot of work that goes behind it. You know, people in the community want to go back to their community where they don't have a barber or they don't have a salon to get their hair done. So they're able to bring it back and work in their community or stay in the city and work within their community and, you know, bring happiness to those who just need a fresh haircut or a cut beard.
Evan Reeks from 2 Paychecks Away says the event is as much about bringing people together and giving self-worth as it is about grooming.
One of our key objectives is to think hospitality shouldn't be a luxury. So whether it's food, haircuts, events, services, anything, it should come with the feeling of just like going to and paying for the service yourself. You should have the feeling of dignity and choice. You should be able to get what you want out of the service without having to choose between getting a haircut or getting your medication today.
Isaiah Sparrow, one student of the program, says the experience was not only good hands-on training, but also a meaningful way to connect with the community.
I definitely got to learn. Like I've worked with so many different textures of hair now, and it's different to see how like different hair reacts to like let's say if you're using like thicker hair, like I just like the person I just cut, she had like thicker hair, so like if you cut it to like a certain length, it'll just like poke out, you know. Whereas like if you do it with someone's like thin hair, it'll kind of just drop and everything. So it's cool to learn like that. Every haircut will be different, you know. Like every person that comes in will have their own just like story to tell.
The initiative drew a steady crowd of locals all day and got glowing reviews from all sides.
She's awesome. She just did it and I didn't even see her, just trusted her. And she did what I wanted.
He was good. He was good. He was gentle. He was kind. He was talkative. I'm just so happy that they're doing this for the community.
And while the clients walked out with a fresh look, crisp cut, and confidence up, the students walked away not just more skilled, but excited for the future.
Pretty pumped. It's pretty awesome. Like I'm excited to graduate and actually like get out into the world and be able to like become my own barber.
Simon Charlin, APTN National News, Vancouver.
What a super initiative that is. Now to one of this week's web poll questions. We're asking, do you feel the government is providing adequate support to First Nations as wildfires burn across the country? Your options are yes, no, or not sure. You can go to our website, aptnews.ca/polls to cast your ballot on this and all of our web poll questions. Still to come here, we'll speak with those behind an Indigenous music label that does things a little different. Welcome back. Here's a look at your current conditions. 19 in Fredericton, sunny, and 11 in Halifax. Cloudy and 8 in Kuujjuaq, 6 in Nain. 19 in Montreal, 22 in Val-d'Or. Sunny and 17 in Sault Ste. Marie, 19 and sunny skies in Ottawa. 13 in Thunder Bay, smoky, and 15 in Sioux Lookout. Cloudy and 12 in God's Lake, smoky and 11 for Puckatawagan. 17 in Winnipeg, 16 in Dauphin. 14 in Regina, 13 and cloudy in Saskatoon. 11 in La Ronge, 10 in Buffalo Narrows. In northern Alberta, rain and 20 in High Level, sunny and 16 in Fort Chipewyan. 19 with showers in Edmonton and Medicine Hat. 18 in Vancouver, 25 in Kamloops. 19 in Prince George, sunny, and 21 in Smithers. Rain and 13 in Old Crow, sunny and 18 in Whitehorse. 15 in Yellowknife and Norman Wells. 0 with snow in Sax Harbor, snow and -1 in Pawlatuck. 2 in Chesterfield, cloudy and 10 in Baker Lake. 3 in Resolute, 7 in Joe Haven. Indigenous record label Musique Nomad is working to redefine what it means to be a record label in Canada. The Quebec-based multilingual and artist-first label reimagines how music can be created and shared. The latest result is a compilation album called On the Road, Wemotashi, and showcases some of the musical voices of the community. I spoke with Joël Robillard, the executive director of Musique Nomad, and Soleil Launière earlier. Thanks to you both for being here with us. Joël, can you give our viewers a bit of an introduction to Musique Nomad?
Yes, of course. Musique Nomad is a non-profit Indigenous organization that was created in 2006. So we've been around for a while, and we have two main, focus under our one identity. And the first one is our community activity. So we have a mobile studio team that goes around Indigenous community to set up studio and record with artists in their territory. So we have a crew, music producer, video producer. We build up a whole studio with the whole equipment to be able to record with those artists. And then we meet up with artists and we develop different kinds of collaboration, music residency. We provide the help for artists to develop their path in the music career and their artistic development. And we also have the professional structure in the music industry, so the label, booking agency, album production that promote Indigenous artists and music in the music industry on our show scenes and everywhere. So we've been working with a lot of great artists like Laura Nicoué and Anak Nid and Soleil Launière that is here with us today.
That is a really great idea, I must say, for a label and everything that you do. Soleil, can you tell us a bit about your involvement with the label?
Well, I've been working with Musique Nomad for quite a few years now, but we've only started working on my album about 3 years ago. I think 3 years ago we started working on my album. I had an idea, approached Joël about it, and we've been working really hard on producing the album and then launching it. I've been touring quite a bit since then, and the project is doing really well. I think the beautiful thing about Musique Nomad is the freedom and the knowledge of who we are as Indigenous artists, and the not being put in boxes of what it should be or should not be, but like the freedom of that and the openness of ideas I feel lucky to be able to really have my own identity shining through my projects, and that Musique Nomad is really there to support and show this in the right way.
Awesome stuff. Joël, can you tell us about this latest project?
Latest projects? You mean the show that we're showcasing in June?
Yes, that too, and the latest compilation album.
Oh yes, okay. So On the Road with Montashi was the latest compilation album that we released. It's a great album. So that is from what I just explained, those recording workshop in the community. So we went to Montashi last fall and meet with a lot of great artists, younger artists that are really driven like by hip hop and some kind of dance music and some even like Latin like influences and electronic music. So there's a big like crew of new artists that have been inspired by artists that I've been like working on creating that path for them to be able to shine and try to do their music. So On the Road with Montashi is bring all the songs that we record there under one album. So it's a very like eclectic, fun way to discover the music. And for a lot of them, it's their first recording, but very, very great song and music. So there's Kawish there, there's FDA, which is a hip hop collective, Lenny Cuckoo, and there's also some traditional music that you can hear very, very luminous and beautiful. So that's the new album that we just released. And we have a big show coming up in Montreal on June 11th. Soleil Lunière is inviting a bunch of different artists to share the space with her. Those are shows that we call Nigamotan MTL with Music Nomad, where we bring artists to collaborate on the stage. So there will be other Indigenous artists to discover, such as Anaknid and Ayadse and Nukad, which is a Amazigh Indigenous artist from Morocco, and also other artists that are well known on the Quebec scene and the international music scene, like Claude Pelgag, Dominique Fils-Aimé, Violette P, and Joran. So it's going to be also a very eclectic, fun time, like mixing Soleil vibe with other artists. So those are two big projects that are going on right now that are there for you to discover Indigenous music scene.
Absolutely. Hopefully we're sending a team over for the show. Soleil, I guess, what are you hoping for the show?
Oh, I mean, the spaces that I create is always like something that's kind of performative and ritualistic. So I want people to be able to enter this universe with us, and I'm hoping for a lot of people. I think that's going to be a great scene that night, and a cohesion. It's going to be a lot of fun, and I always love collaboration. For me, it's community building. It's being together. It's like speaks decolonizing spaces as well. So for me, it's to like bring together this energy and connection and love. So I'm hoping just to have fun and having a lot of people there. Yeah.
For sure. Joelle, I have many questions about your jacket there, but we're all out of time. But congrats on the compilation and on the upcoming show. Hope it all goes well for you.
Thank you so much. And please go see the platform Nigamowin, where you can discover a lot of Indigenous music and artists. And thank you for having us.
And that is all the time we have for your first look at the day's news. Of course, we'll be back here at 6 p.m. Eastern Time with all the latest on the wildfire situation and much more. You can always stay up to date by visiting our website, aptnnews.ca. I'm Dennis Ward. Marcy McGuitch, thanks for being with us. Have a great afternoon.